Dream painters are artists who didn't just paint what they saw, they painted what they dreamed. They explored the subconscious, imagination, and inner worlds, turning visions into images that feel both impossible and strangely familiar. Some, like Dali, became legends, but many others were forgotten. Their dreamscapes hidden in the shadows of art history. This series uncovers those forgotten dream painters and the worlds they left behind. What if the dream painter was not Dali, not Ernst, not even Carrington, but a woman whose art was hidden for decades? What if I told you that years before Kandinsky, famous abstractions, a Swedish artist named Hilma F. Klint was already painting her own versions of the unseen world? Hilma F. Klint was born in 1862 in Sweden. From a young age, she showed a deep interest in both science and spirituality, two worlds that often shaped her art. She trained as a traditional painter at the Royal Academy of Fine Arts in Stockholm, where she focused on naturalistic landscapes, portraiture, and botanical studies. But Hilma's story took a very different path. Along with four other women, she formed a spiritual group called the Five. They practiced seances and claimed to receive messages from higher spirits. These spiritual sessions inspired Hilma to move beyond the visible world and to create art that captured the mysteries of existence, the cosmos, and the soul. She claimed her paintings were guided by higher forces. When we think of abstract art, most people immediately name Vasily Kandinsky. He is often credited as the first abstract painter. But his works from around 1911 and 1913 were thought to be the beginning of abstraction. But Hilma F. Klint had already painted vast abstract canvases in 1906, years before Kandinsky painted his first purely abstract piece. Yet, because Hilma's work was deeply tied to mysticism and spiritual belief, it wasn't widely accepted in her time. Hilma believed that the world wasn't ready for her art. She kept most of her paintings hidden, convinced that the world wasn't ready to understand them. In her will, she even instructed that her works should not be shown until at least 20 years after her death. By the time Hilma passed away in 1944, she had created more than 1,200 paintings and left behind an astonishing 26,000 pages filled with notes, sketches, and spiritual reflections. When her works were finally offered to Stockholm's Moderna Museet in 1970, the museum rejected the donation. It took another decade before the true art historical value of her paintings was finally recognized. And yet, for decades, her art stayed locked away, almost forgotten. It wasn't until 2018, with the Guggenheim Museum's landmark exhibition, Hilma F. Klint Paintings for the Future, in New York, that the world finally began to understand just how revolutionary she truly was. So while Hilma F. Klint is celebrated today, she was forgotten and overlooked for most of the 20th century, and even now, outside the art world, her name is still not as widely known as Dali's or Kandinsky's. That's why she belongs in this series of forgotten dream painters. Hilma painted worlds that people couldn't yet see, and in doing so, she became a bridge between the visible and the invisible. She painted dreams before surrealism began, a visionary, a mystic, and a dream painter, forgotten for too long. In our next episode, we'll explore the surreal poetic world of Jacques Herald, another artist lost in the shadows of art history.